thingy. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by MoneyBall Metrics. You have your normal Monday team here, myself, Alpha Dog Betsy, with JD from Line Movers and Ben from We Beat the Spread. Gentlemen, it's a bit of a depressing day. The NFL season is over. We have to wait 207 days until opening day. I believe that's the number I heard on television. I could be completely wrong, but I do believe that's the number that they said. JD, over to you. How are you today, brother?
Yeah, man, that sounds right. Ain't it like 7 months or something like that?
Yeah.
We have to wait. Yeah. I mean, man, yeah, like it actually sucks as far as that goes. But not to get into it too early, but everybody knows actually the plays that I had. So I'm doing good, man.
You had a very good day. We'll be getting into that when we go over the recap. Ben, you look fantastic, as you always do. How are you today, brother?
Doing well. I'm not too sad about the NFL leaving because we get the UFL in a few weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, shut up.
But it wasn't. I wish it was at least a closer game. Obviously, glad the Eagles won because that's the side we had. But just wanted a more exciting game, But it was still a fun game for some props and everything. So.
Absolutely. So let's go right into the weekend recap and start talking about this game because this is at the forefront of everyone's minds. This is at the forefront of everything that happened. As you guys know, I was all over the Chiefs, so not a great side for me. I was happy. I did give out the DeAndre Hopkins plus 650 anytime touchdown, so we were able to cash that. I also had A.J. Brown. I almost said Antonio Brown. A.J. Brown anytime touchdown as well at plus 185, so we did hit a couple props, but was very disappointed with the way the Chiefs performed. I'm sure we're going to get into that. JD, go over your winners, do your victory lap, because you had a fantastic Super Bowl card.
Sorry, guys, getting something tweeted out here.
There we go.
Yeah, man. The Eagles. We talked about how, if you just really took out everything, like tried to get away from all the Chiefs stuff, like 3P and all that, the Eagles were just plainly the better team. And last night they very clearly showed that. I in no way thought it was going to be that type of game though.
Yeah.
I actually give out alt lines. But yeah, I was just not expecting such a one-sided game. That did kind of come out of nowhere. But yeah, so we had the Eagles, team total over, which actually that ended up hitting in the first half.
That's unbelievable.
So that was nice. We had the A.J. Brown actually touchdown. Then we had the actual Xavier Worthy actually touchdown too. So that was nice at the end there that he was able to actually get those. Well, actually he had two, right?
He had two.
Yeah, two at the end.
So you cashed that even before the late one. So you were good by that anyway.
So yeah, man, it was a good night. And then I actually had a Hurts one also. So yeah, man, it was just a big day, man. So yeah,
glad to hear it. Well, I'm glad you had a big day at least. Ben, how was your Super Bowl?
4-6 for me overall, so it wasn't the best. Did get the side right, did get the Eagles. Unfortunately, my max play was I switched from, I had both Hurts over 33.5 longest completion. That cashed, of course, with the Devontae Smith play. But had A.J. Brown over 23.5 longest completion. And first drive, he gets it, but there's an OPI call. Would have been a 28-yard completion. Very, very questionable OPI call for, I think, everyone, except, I guess, the refs. So
I disagree.
Sorry, just stop right there. I about lost my mind.
I disagree.
When that happened, I was like, "You're not going to fucking do this. This is not."
It was not OPI.
That was
he
not
pushed
OPI.
off into his face at the point
They were
of
both
separation.
hand fighting.
He pushed his face and got extension from it. Come on, that was OPI. If we're going to talk about the officials, one team had a way worse officiated game than the other. By far, the Chiefs got.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. I was just saying.
But that had nothing to do with the game.
No
one could
I
complain
wasn't
about the
saying
refs.
anything about the officiating overall. I was just saying for my play that sucked because on the first drive of the game I would have instantly cashed it, and then
That would have been good.
So
I agree, but I did not think it was a flag. I'm going to stand by that. I did think it was a flag. I did think he pushed off at the point of separation. So I thought that was a good call, but there were some pretty bad calls in the game. But like I said, none of those dictated the game. The Eagles showed up and beat the shit out of the Chiefs in every way possible, on offense, on defense, on special teams. It didn't matter. In coaching, every single way, the Eagles were better than the Chiefs. The Eagles were better prepared. Their coaching staff did a fantastic job. The one thing I'll say the Chiefs executed well was that they were able to stop Saquon Barkley. Saquon did not have a big game. But you still have to stop the other weapons on the Chiefs offense. And let's talk a little bit about Patrick Mahomes. His legacy has to be hurt a little bit. I did not think it was possible that, again, he could lose this game and be down 34-0. Let me put it this way. This was the first Super Bowl in my life. After the opening drive of the third quarter, I was about 30 minutes away from home. I was watching with a bunch of buddies. I was with Hefe, a bunch of guys. We all went home right after the first drive of the third quarter because there was no point in staying to watch the end of the game. Beat the rush, get out of there. No need to wait for the traffic. We left, and I probably missed the entire third quarter driving, which I would never do for a major football game, let alone a Super Bowl. But that's how over this game was early. The Eagles did a fantastic job. There wasn't one thing that the Chiefs did better than the Eagles. Let's talk a little bit about Mahomes' legacy, because as of right now, and I see a bunch of people in the comments have asked about this, about his legacy and all that, you can't compare him to Brady. As of right now, you cannot. You cannot compare the two. Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowl losses has lost by a combined 40 points. And to be honest, it should have been a lot more than that because yesterday's game, the final score did not reflect what the whole game was. They made it closer at the end than it really was. But Mahomes has to do a lot of work. He's very young. He still has the ability to surpass Tom Brady in the long run. But as of right now, Brady's the GOAT, and there's no doubt about that, in my opinion. JD, what do you think?
It's actually not even close. As far as in Super Bowls, I believe I saw earlier today that Mahomes has thrown 8 touchdown passes, and actually then as far as interceptions has thrown 7. Then if you look at Brady, he is 21-6 there. Just stuff like that. And actually Brady never had games like this. Like they never got completely blown out. They actually had a game where they were down a whole bunch of points, but then Brady brought them back though. To me, that actual conversation is just not even kind of a real thing now.
Yeah, Joe, I completely disagree here. Yeah, he did lose 2 to Eli Manning, but how many Super Bowls did Brady win compared to Patrick Mahomes? What is it, double at least? So, right now they're not in the same conversation. Brady, there was never a game when I watched the Patriots in a Super Bowl where they were freaking down 34-0 and his team had 14 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
Total. That has not happened. So to me, I think it's cemented right now that we can stop with that conversation, and I'll be upfront about it now. I was one of the people who said Mahomes is my GOAT. I think he's better than Brady. I think talent-wise and how he's performed, he's better. But after last night, you just cannot compare the two currently. Like I said earlier, Mahomes definitely has a chance. He's still young enough. He can go on a lot of runs. But that was a really bad loss. He did not play good. He was the worst player on the field in the first half for Kansas City. He was responsible for 14 of the Eagles' points, and they only had 24 points. So the defense technically allowed 10, and Mahomes allowed 14 on the offensive side. So that never happened with Brady. He did have a pick 6. I believe he had his pick 6 against the Falcons in that massive game, but you can't compare him right now. You just can't. Andy, question from Crypto Warrior. Do we think Andy Reid is done? Do we think Kelsey's done? If they would have won, I think Kelsey probably would have been done. At first, it didn't seem like it, and then it did seem like it. But right now, Mahomes said he's going to take time to figure it out. I don't think I have a clear opinion either way. I just don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see. I don't think Andy Reid is done by any chance. What do you guys think? JD?
As far as actually Kelsey goes, I actually do agree there. If they would have won, yes, like he was done. Now, I'm not so sure about that. Far as Reid is definitely not done. Reid is still a great coach. He's gonna still do great things. So.
Ben?
It's just tough, I think, from Kelsey's perspective, because it feels like he's done everything. If he definitely would have gotten the 3-peat, I agree. I think he would have been done. It's just he has more going on than I feel like any other active NFL player with everything going on in his life. Just his love life, his podcast. It already feels like he's out of the game and he's not even retired in a little bit of a sense. And especially with that performance yesterday, like throughout the playoffs, he had the one slow game, he had the one good game. But overall, this postseason was really slow for him after an already slow regular season. It just looks like his heart's not in it. And not necessarily his heart's not in it, but it just feels
Great
like
point. No, you're right. His game was reflective of everything you just said.
His game is changing.
Perform.
No, it's just it looks like something's off, and I feel like it's just everything in his life outside of football. And not to make any decisions for him, it just seems like this is probably the time that I would say is better than any. Like, sure, you're not going out on top, but you just won 2 in a row. You've won multiple the last 5 seasons. You were just so dominant. I can't help but think that it's the end of his career.
Yeah, it definitely does feel that way. And one more question I do want to talk about before we move past the Super Bowl and start getting into today's bets. The Eagles, guys, they're young. They're talented all over. And I don't think they're going anywhere. Anybody think that they're potentially the next dynasty in the NFL? Because let's look at the NFC landscape. Outside the Lions, who's giving them a threat in the NFC right now? I mean, I know you're a Vikings fan, Ben, so I apologize. Not the Vikings. No. So what do you guys think? Do you think that, JD?
I mean, like, they have a good shot at it. Yeah, I mean, because just like the pieces that they have, I mean, they are so good. I mean, they've like shown it to us all season long. And they seem to have stuff going on, like actually off the field all season long. Yeah. And they were still able to get it done. And now I feel like that they have the Super Bowl now. I feel like a lot of that off-field stuff is going to be kind of cleared up a little bit. Just everybody's going to be in a much better mood now and everything. And if they can be even more focused than they actually were, I mean, yeah, this is a dangerous team.
I agree. I completely agree.
I think the scariest team about the Eagles defense, and you can say all you want about the offense with Saquon Barkley, which is obviously so dominant. Like,
they didn't even need him.
Defense alone, not a single blitz in the Super
Insanity.
Bowl. And they were able to still get that much pressure and make Mahomes look that pressured and hurried up. Like, not a single blitz. And that's where you're like Vic Fangio, whatever he did, all the crap he got for everything, leading up to it, and all the crap he got and going back up against Andy Reid and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's one of the more well-coached defensive games I've ever seen in my life from a defensive coordinator perspective. This team is scary on every level of every side of the ball. It really is. It does feel like they're kind of a dynasty starting to warm up. The only thing in the NFC landscape alone, I would say, is maybe the Commanders, if they can make some moves, because Jane Daniels could be the next big thing. They do play in the same division. So lucky enough for us, we get to see them play twice in the regular season next year. That'll be interesting. I would say maybe the Lions, if their defense gets healthy and we get to see a full season of a healthy team, they could be potentially up there with the Eagles. It just feels like they really need to figure out some health issues. Maybe get a new doctor or something, or a new trainer or something. I don't know. Something over there in Detroit to stay healthy. But that would be all I could see outside the Eagles.
It's scary because Jalen Carter, Kenyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, these are all rookies or guys that are in their second year. They're young stars. And a lot of these guys aren't even first-round picks. They're getting them later in the draft. To get a guy like Zach Bond, who was probably going to be the all-pro middle linebacker this year. He was absolutely fantastic. They're paying him basically league minimum. These guys are going to get better. Howie Roseman does a fantastic job. It feels like every move he makes is just the right move. Every guy they bring in is a good fit. And shout out Vic Fangio. Yeah. Vic Fangio is one of the few people that went to my college, East Stroudsburg University, and got a Super Bowl win. So I was happy to see Big Vic get it done, as he was one of the commencement speakers at my graduation. So good for him. JD, over to you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I actually one last thing here, man. We talked about it all week long, how it just did not feel like Super Bowl week. We felt like this game just didn't have as much of like around it as it like normally does. So feeling like that all like week, and then having the game play out like that. I mean, everything about it. I mean, the halftime show. I mean, literally everything. It was just weird, man. Like now that it's all done with, and we're sitting back looking at it, I'm just like, the whole week was just everything about the Super Bowl.
It didn't feel like the Super Bowl. We all said it. We said it all week last week that there was no hype around this thing.
Yep.
So I agree with you 1,000%. Absolutely. One more comment here from Diamond Dog Sirianni talk. Not sure what you mean by that. Sirianni's fantastic. He did a great job. He won the Super Bowl. He quieted every single doubter about him. So he'll be there for a long time, and he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Let me tell you something. As a Giants fan, it's super exciting to see the Commanders and the Eagles being so good. And then the Cowboys, I'm sure, will get somewhat back to relevancy. So let's go Giants. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun going forward. One more question from Diamond Dog about NFL before we go to basketball for the day. Because there's been some great questions in here. We're not going to move off. Well, there's some fantastic questions. Where does Rodgers go? Shout out our guy Hefe, who's on this show. You guys know him multiple times a week. For 2-3 months now, he's been screaming Rodgers is going to leave the Jets and go to the San Francisco 49ers. And it just feels more and more that has a true possibility. Now Devontae Adams is a free agent. Devontae probably goes wherever the hell Rodgers goes. So we'll see what happens here. Any of you guys have any predictions about where Rodgers may go? And one more thing from Diamond Dog. No.
I sure hope not.
He's not going to the Minnesota Bengals. They have enough quarterbacks over there. They have too many. Is their current issue. So what do you guys think? Ben, we'll start with you.
Oh, man. There's so many options for him. Does he go anywhere? Or does he retire? No, I think he might go somewhere. He's
going somewhere.
Cleveland?
He wants to play.
What?
Oh, they can't afford him. He wants to play.
They can't afford him, but if they got – oh, no, it's guaranteed money. So, yeah, they can't
They can't afford him. They have to get a rookie. Yep, they can't afford him. So, I don't know. JD, what do you think?
Yeah, that is tough. He's not going to go to Oakland. Or Las Vegas, sorry, because Devontae just left there.
Yeah.
That there is tough.
It's a tough one.
You know, wherever he goes, I think it's going to be somewhere where he actually wants to play, though. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think he made it clear that he does want to play because he flew to New Jersey to meet with the Jets with full intention to try and work out something. The Jets had him fly out there to say, go home. We don't want you, which I think is absolutely hilarious because of what Rodgers did to that franchise. You have to bring in this guy. You got to bring in that guy. I want this coach with me. I want X, Y, Z. And I also am going to bring you terrible seasons while I'm there. So I did think it was kind of funny that they did do that, made him come all the way out there. That was such a bold move by the Jets. But
what about like San Francisco?
That's who I said. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you just said?
Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen. I do think they're going to let, Purdy walk, and I think they will go with Rodgers and try and get a ring with him, and they can bring Devontae with him. Like I said, he's a free agent. So
I mean, Purdy's contract is small enough. They could keep him and pay Rodgers.
Isn't Purdy up for a contract extension now, though?
He's up for an extension, but I mean, it's not like unless he wants more money and he thinks he can get it somewhere else. Because like
I think he can. That's exactly what's going to happen.
This year hurt his. I would say he had a much better chance of getting more money prior to this year because
of course
it wasn't great for them. But
he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. If Kirk Cousins could get a 4.180, I definitely think Brock Purdy could get a big deal.
Not be compared to anyone else's agent because that man's agent
did a fantastic job.
Sell water to a fish. I don't know.
I agree. All right, boys. It's enough Super Bowl talk. I'm over it. The Super Bowl's over. We got basketball. You boys ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Let's get it, boys. We're going to start with an NCAA game. First game we're going to be breaking down. We're only breaking one NCAA game down. So it's going to be the UNC Clemson game. Get Tar Heel in here. I'm sure he's here. But the Tar Heels are coming into this one 14-10 on the year. They're 7-5 in conference. Taking on the Clemson Tigers that are 19-5 on the year and 11-2 in conference. Clemson's coming in off a massive win over the Fighting JDs, a.k.a. Duke. They did win that game 77-71. JD, kick us off. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, man. Clemson coming off that massive win. Massive win. They like played up and they played a really good game. They shot the ball very well. I think from 2-point, I think they shot 62%, which obviously that's very good. That's very high. And I think this is a spot where, just like Tar Heel said, I mean, this is letdown spot written all over it. I just don't see how they can. I mean, to me, Clemson is just not a very good team. They did play very, very, very well their last game, but as far as just overall, Clemson to me is not that caliber of actual team. And actually, UNC is actually not either.
Yeah.
So I don't love it because UNC, I have not backed them one time this entire season. I got this at 6.5. I set it for an actual best bet on the show at 5.5. Now it actually looks like it's down to 4.5.
Yeah.
So people are probably thinking the same way as me. I mean, this looks just like a letdown spot here. At 4.5, I don't necessarily love it, especially with me personally actually getting this at 6.5. Gosh.
This is a tough game to cap. I really didn't like this one.
At 4.5, I would honestly probably just stay off. I know some people don't think 5.5, 4.5, that, you know, that's only a point. That doesn't mean much
difference.
But there is a big difference there. And at this point, I think I would just have to stay off.
I'm in the same boat. This one seems, the way the line's moving, the way everything's going, I can't back the UNC team this year. I'm sorry, Tar Heel. They've been just awful. And on the other side, Clemson's coming in off a huge win. This could absolutely be a letdown spot. So I'm going to be heavily attacking the NBA board. You guys will hear my picks there. But on this game, no action from me. Ben, anything from you?
Yeah, I see this game completely differently. I have absolutely no fit. I think the only reason the line isn't higher is because there's so much bias from everyone towards the UNC program because they've been so dominant in the past. We are not seeing that team this year. They're 14-10. Most of that damage was done outside of the conference. Most of that good stuff, I should say. They're 7-5 in conference, 3-5 straight up on the road. They have not covered a road conference game this year. 0-6 on the road in conference. Like, they literally have not covered a road game yet in conference play. Meanwhile, Clemson at home, they have been doing much better this year. They're 12-2 at home straight up. They're just coming off that big win against Duke. I get that this could be a letdown spot, but we just saw this Carolina team get absolutely decimated by Duke, and they didn't cover in that game either. So I think that we're just seeing a much better Clemson team, and they're honestly not laying that many points. Like 5.5, sure, you're teetering with the 2 possessions there, but it feels like Clemson's better in every area in this game, especially defensively. Like, UNC is a horrible defense. Honestly, one of the worst defenses in the conference this year. Chase Hunter is looking like one of the best guards in the nation. Victor Lacken, he's been doing a really good job defensively as a center for Clemson. And I just don't see anything good about this UNC team happening right now. They just have not been able to play on the road in conference play. So give me the Tigers here, -5.5. I love this spot for them. I just think they're the clearly better team. And I think that Duke win's actually going to pump them up rather than put them in a letdown spot here.
There we go. I like that. Well, all right, boys. So let me blast out that we're getting into NBA.
I do have to say, now with the line coming down, this is more coming into that territory of you back Clemson now. So yeah,
I would agree. That's the way I lean.
So the line is just in that weird spot for Fresh and me now, where like I just have to stay off now.
I'm with you. I am with you. All right, boys. Ready to dive into the association?
Let's do it.
Let's get it, fellas. First game we're diving into today is going to be the Boston Celtics, who are coming in off an absolute dismantling of the Knicks, taking on the Miami Heat, who are 25-25, but they've got rid of their Jimmy Butler issue. Ben, I'm going to go to you. What do you like in this spot?
Yeah, I like this spot for the Celtics. They have a very favorable line here. I understand they're probably going to be a popular play today. Going to have to just try and trust that hopefully this isn't a little bit of a trap spot for them, because I don't think this is enough points to lay against this
I got
team.
a little news for you on this game. I got a little news for you. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did not participate in morning shoot-around today. Neither.
Honestly, still like it even without them. Even if they weren't to play, you still have Porzingis, who's been doing excellent. You have Derek White, who's been doing excellent as point guard. You have pieces around them where the Heat are just in such a tough spot that I think they're still trying to figure out what to do without Butler. I know he's been out for a little bit, but they just haven't looked like that same team that we saw in years past with Jimmy. And I know there's been problems going on this year, and they've looked good at times. Tyler Herro's been doing excellent. But outside of that, I just don't think something's missing from this team right now. And it sounds like something might be missing from the Celtics team tonight. But either way, they're still just a better team, especially defensively. Like, the Celtics can get this game done on defense alone. So I'm going to take the 5.5, even if Tatum and Brown are out, which, judging by this line, it would make sense if both of them are out, because this line would not be -6 if they were playing.
I'm on the other side here. I like the Heat in this spot. I do believe they'll have a big performance here, and it's a bit of a letdown spot for the Celtics. I don't think that the Heat will win this game outright. You can currently get the line at a +6, but I do think they will keep it within the 6 points. I think this will be a very close game, and I do think, like I said, Miami will get the cover here. JD, what do you like?
On Saturday, I was on the Celtics big because they were coming off of a loss. I've said it multiple times. That should be an auto play. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care how many points that they're laying. If Celtics lost a game, you just bet them that actually following game. Well, then guess what? The game after that, you do not bet on them. You go against them. The Celtics, time and time again this season, that game after that win, they a lot of the times will still win, but they don't cover.
Yep.
That's just been something with them, and this line is showing you. Brown and Tatum, I didn't think both of them would actually be out. I was actually thinking one would actually be. So we'll have to see there to see who actually does sit or whatnot. But I do think one of them will play. Then on the other side though, the Heat, they are a team that I am still not betting yet. With everything they've had going on, I just haven't bet on them, and I'm still not here. They've been going win-loss, win-actually loss. They're actually off a loss. So if you're into that type of trend type of stuff, this would be a game actually they would win. It's just, to me, it's definitely a Heat spot. Like I said, but me personally though, I'm just not backing this actual Heat team yet.
I respect that. Any props on the game, guys? We're seeing a bunch of people here asking questions about the Heat. Aiden is asking, is this a breakout hero season? Well, he is an all-star, so I think Hero's having a fantastic year.
Yeah.
Any props from you guys? Aiden likes Pritchard props. He's been banging threes
I was going to say Pritchard
right lately. Okay, Jrue Holiday's out as well. So I didn't go over the injury report in this game outside the two big ones, but when you take a look at the Celtics right now, game time decisions in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday and Torrey Craig have already been ruled out. So little weaker on the guard depth tonight. We could see a healthy dose of Peyton Pritchard. Would you guys like any of his three props or any other props you'd like on Pritchard?
I don't mind a Pritchard threes prop, but I actually like Derek White over 3.5 threes. I really feel like his volume is going to shoot up if both Brown and Tatum are out from three. And he's a guy that plays a ton of minutes no matter what. And especially if this game is, I know I just said I'm taking the Celtics -6, but if it's expected to be close, as in 2 possessions close, he's going to play a full dose of minutes, and that volume will shoot up. So I feel like he'll get 10 or more 3-point attempts up. So he's just got to make 4.
Yeah, I like that as well. And you know what's annoying? They don't even have Peyton Pritchard 3 props on FanDuel. I'm going through it here. They have Derek White, they have Porzingis, they have Jaylen Brown, they have Jason Tatum, but they're not giving us any Peyton Pritchard props, which usually means he's going to have a big 3-point night, truthfully. So I do definitely like Peyton Pritchard props if you can find any, but right now there aren't any being offered. I still also like what Ben's saying as well in Derek White. Derek White's had a fantastic year. He's not just a facilitator. As Ben said, this guy hits the open 3, and he's been fantastic for years now for them. He's a great role piece. So I could see him having a big game here. JD, any props on your eyes today in this game?
I don't have any props for this game, but Alpha, I do have to ask, did actually you just get cussed out here, or what is that?
So that is a comment on Twitter. I think it's an emoji. That's what it means when the emoji does. It doesn't show us on our end what the emoji is, so I think that is what the emoji is.
Oh, okay.
And if my cousin is cursing me out, I'll be pretty pissed. I'll put it that way. So shout out MLG Cowboy. Thank you for tuning in.
Shout out.
Brother. Absolutely. All right, boys, let's move on to the next game, and I absolutely love this one. We are going to the Kings, taking on the Mavs. The Kings are coming in 26-26. They are 12-13 on the road. Taking on a Mavericks team that is 28-25. Guys, you remember when the Mavericks did that thing, and they traded that guy, and then they got that other guy, and then that other guy got broken already? Just had to put that out there. I don't think I need to put any names or fill in the blanks. I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's the current situation with the Dallas Mavericks. Ben, a couple of injuries in this game. That guy who was traded is out till at least March 3rd. Not sure if we see him again tonight. And Anthony Davis, Dante Exum, game time decision. Max Christie and PJ Washington are game time decisions as well, while Dwight Powell is close to returning, but he is out for tonight's game. On the Kings side, the injury report is empty. There's nobody on it currently. So, Ben, we're going to start with you. What do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher line for me. I get that the Kings just gave up De'Aaron Fox, but I'm all over the Kings in this spot. The Mavericks just have been able to somehow completely turn around their organization the wrong way within a matter of a few weeks. And we saw how it played out, obviously, with Anthony Davis going down injured. And now it's just Nico Harrison looks like the dumbest idiot on the planet, as he already did after the trade. Now, let alone the inevitable was always going to happen.
It was so inevitable.
It was inevitable. It was literally inevitable. And yes, actually, somehow, I like this spot even more because the Mavericks have somehow won back-to-back games, including a win over the Celtics. So they're actually coming in with a little bit of momentum.
And the Rockets. Don't discredit the Rockets. They get a lot of love on this show. They also beat the Rockets in that streak.
Yeah.
Games.
I mean,
impressive 2-game streak
against the Mavericks and against the Celtics and Rockets. Like, that is impressive, but I'm not fazed by it at all. I'm absolutely fading them in this spot. The Kings, Zach LaVine came over in the first game. They lost to the Magic Big. That was their first game back, whatever. LaVine and DeRozan have to figure out their stuff again now that they're back in the same team. And then they come back and they lose to a really hot Blazers team. That one's understandable. And then they beat the Pelicans. So I think they're getting their footing down with Zach LaVine coming in now. I like their bench a lot better in this game. The Mavericks have literally no bench pieces in this game. And by the way, Sabonis is going to absolutely have a huge game tonight. And then behind him, even when he is sitting, you have Jonas Valanciunas, who just came over. They honestly
said that beautifully. You said that beautifully, by the way.
They should be able to eat in the paint tonight. I really think Sabonis and Valanciunas are going to have a good game tonight. And then, LaVine, after a slow first game, started to heat up in the last two. I am all over the Kings in this spot. I love this spot for the Kings.
I probably should have let you speak first because I'm on the same wavelength you are, and for a lot of the same reasons. One thing I like to look at and hear as well is just to see if the ESPN BPI agrees with what I'm thinking early, and they're putting the Kings as a 62% favorite, the Mavs at a 38%. However, the Mavs are still favored in the game. So I'm all over the Kings in this spot for a lot of the reasons that Ben said perfectly. A lot of injuries on the Dallas side, and they're not exactly the deepest team right now. Like I said, PJ Washington, game time decision. Max Christie, game time decision. Dante Exum, game time decision. And the big trade deadline acquisition that was going to push this team over the top to make a great playoff run, and Anthony Davis went all Anthony Davis. He's broken yet again. So I think the morale of the Mavericks is probably not at an all-time high, just to put it lightly. So I do think the Kings will have a big win, which they need tonight. I think they'll have a big performance. JD, what you got, brother?
Guys, the side here, y'all are actually all over that. And for me, the side I really didn't even dig into that far, because this total to me makes no sense. Because when you look at who's going to be on the floor to night, all I see is offense. I literally do not see any defense.
Good point.
From actually both teams. These actually lineups are literally geared towards offense. And I just see this being a very high scoring game. The total has actually dropped a point. It's down to 236.5 now. Not really sure why it's going down. But I absolutely love it. This is my favorite play by far. I am on the over here.
Little news on the Miami game, gentlemen. Little injury news. Just got an update here. Tyler Hero has been downgraded from probable to questionable with an illness. So that would keep me off Miami.
I was about to
say. Put that out immediately. If they do not have Tyler Hero in the game tonight, I'm going to wait to get that official news now. So I know I said I'm on Miami earlier. I will be waiting until the lineups come out because that is a pivotal piece with this current roster. Ben, what do you think about that?
Well, I already like the Celtics, so if you can still get a -6, and from probable to questionable, and if it's an illness, that means it's obviously getting worse as the day progresses, not better, which is never a good sign.
Line just moved. The line went down to 4.5. Now it's back up to 6 with the news that
I would say get it at 6 if you can, because especially if it was at 4.5 and then this news came out and then it moved to 6, I would guess he's probably not playing tonight.
Yeah, when you get downgraded day of, it's never a good sign.
Downgraded day of with
ever
is very bad.
So something you didn't want to see if you're on the Miami side. But yet again, remember, no Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown at shoot-around today. So make sure you guys watch and see the injury report here. So that will definitely be interesting. We should see a little Wiggins debut tonight as well. So some interesting pieces to be in this Miami game. Crypto Warrior is asking us about any Kyrie props. Do you guys have any on this game?
Kyrie props? No. Honestly, if anything, I think I would lean towards more of a Klay Thompson prop for me. Maybe a Kyrie assists prop, but even then, I don't know how much offense they're going to find in this game. So it would be a Klay Thompson threes prop, because since Luka left, he's kind of their main guy. He was already brought in to be kind of that spot-up shooter 3 guy. He's always been in Golden State. But now, especially with him gone, that volume's shooting up. So if anything for me, I would actually lean towards more the Klay Thompson 3 side.
There we go. No props in this game for me, just the side for me. JD, what about you?
Nothing, man.
There we go. Short and sweet. Love how you worded that, JD. Beautifully done. Let's keep it moving, fellas. Last game we're breaking down of the day is going to be our guy, Joe. Wear My Cup Joe has been all over the Portland Trailblazers. I have to give you credit, Joe, in the audience. And now, somebody who does live shows on Moneyball Metrics. So shout out, Joe. Your Blazers are taking on the Nuggets tonight. They are 23-30 on the year. They're 8-17 on the road, taking on a Nuggets team that is 34-19 on the year and 17-8 at home. Let's take a look at the injury report. Robert Williams for the Blazers. Is he even a real human? Who knows? We don't really see him out there too often. He's a game-time decision. Jeremy Grant, game-time decision. Chris Murray, game-time decision. Justin Minaya, game-time decision. And Matisse Thybulle is out. On the other side, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. are game-time decisions, while Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson will not be playing in this game. Just a friendly reminder, this is the second time these guys play this year, with the Blazers leading the series 1-0 as they beat the Nuggets back in December, 126-124. JD, we haven't started an NBA game with you yet. What do you got in this one?
You know, speaking of what you just said, I believe these two teams also play. I believe they play again Wednesday.
Yep.
So yeah.
2-12. So yes, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, man. This actually Blazers team. We've been actually riding them, man. They've been good to us. And just start out with, I'm not sure if I said it on this show or not, so I will say it again now. But the Blazers, if you've been riding them, like you were on them, like from the start of actually this like run, for me personally, they have to lose twice. Like I'm just gonna stay on them, like actually like, until they lose twice.
So they got one more.
That's just something I always do with like any sport, with like any type of run like this. As long as I was on it from that starting point. Tonight though, I still haven't made a play on this game because I'm looking at literally like 4 plays, and I just don't know how I'm going to play it yet.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy this run they're on, JD. They're 10-2 over their last 12.
Yeah.
And
outright.
This like number looks big. But I mean, Denver's been playing really well. Denver has like turned it on.
6 in a row wins.
So I kind of get it, you know. So also this like total is also coming down. I believe it's down in it was 229.5 now.
229 flat on FanDuel.
Okay, well for an actual Denver game, that's actually pretty damn low.
Yeah.
And I think that's because that their games have actually been going under. But this is a Blazers team that I think will like be able to actually score with them though. So I'm looking at this, like I said, in a bunch of different ways. I'm looking at the full game over, looking at playing the like Blazers. I'm looking at playing the Blazers on the first half because Blazers have also been a very, very good first half team. I'm also looking at a Blazers team total over. Like I'm serious. I'm looking at playing this game so many ways, and I just haven't figured out exactly how I want to. If I just want to pick one of those or just play a bunch of them small. But I am going to be on the Blazers and then actually some sort of over here.
I like it. I'm all over the Blazers, and I apologize if I just got choppy. I got another one of those lovely Amazon spam calls that apparently somebody used my credit card to buy a $5,000 gaming computer, and it froze my screen, so I do apologize for that. But the Blazers plus 9.5, I think, is a fantastic play here. It's tough to go against the Blazers right now, and you're going to give me double digits on this team that's playing better than anyone? I know they did just lose to Minnesota by 16. However, I do think we still see a big performance from the Blazers tonight. I know that the Nuggets have been playing well, but the Nuggets don't exactly win by a bajillion points. They do win a lot of close games. They do battle. So give me the Blazers plus the 9.5. I do think Denver probably gets it done. However, I do think they will keep it close. And a lot of people are talking about this Nuggets win streak, right? They've won 6 in a row. They're playing some good basketball. Let's take a look at who they've played. They beat up on Philadelphia. Breaking news. Everybody beats up on Philadelphia. They beat the Charlotte Hornets. Breaking news. That's probably the second worst team in the NBA. 2 of the wins in back-to-back games were against the Pelicans. Do I need to tell you what's going on with the Pelicans? And they beat Orlando, who, let me tell you, never bet the Orlando Magic. We've learned that from this week, how disappointing that has been. So their win streak is good. They're getting it done, but they haven't exactly been beating the top teams in the league. So I still am going to ride that Blazers hot streak. I'm still with you, JD. I think we have to wait to see them lose another game. So give me the plus 9.5. We should see a big performance out of the Blazers tonight. All right, guys. We have a couple of things we still have to do on the show.
I didn't give a pick for that game.
I'm not done yet, Ben, because I was going to say We're adding one more game I haven't told you guys about as well. So, Ben, let's hear your breakdown of this game, but we're adding one that you two do not know about yet.
Well, I was just doing that out of spite because I don't even have a pick on this game. I'm laying off. But I will say.
There's no way you just did that.
Well, I will say the line is really, really interesting in this game because, of course, both teams are on streaks. Technically, the Nuggets have the win streak because the Blazers just lost. But the only two losses, of course, from kind of falling apart there against Minnesota in the second half, the only other loss was to the Thunder, which, I mean, they're looking like the best team in the NBA right now, except for maybe the Cavaliers. And that game, they still covered the spread. That was 14. This is 9.5 for a team as hot as they are. And honestly, the best thing I like about the Trailblazers right now is not necessarily their offense, because they don't have a single guy averaging over 20 points per game. They're kind of just spreading the ball around, which I actually like. Yeah. Like, they don't have that one guy they rely on. They all just kind of score in bunches. And they don't have a single guy over 20 points per game average. So that's interesting. And also the defense. Like, their defense over this win streak has been absolutely locked down. Like, they've held multiple somewhat decent offenses to under 100 points during this run they've been on. So that's been really interesting to see for me how good their defense has been. So I would lean the Blazers, but still 9.5. I guess it's just because the Nuggets have won, 6 in a row. I guess the win streak is why this line is so high, but the Blazers, in every respect, I think are playing better, more balanced basketball. So I lean the Blazers, but not an official play.
There we go. All right, boys. You ready to break down the game? You have no idea what I'm going to say. I mean, maybe you do. I just added like a little temporary banner, but I don't think you guys do. It's Luka's debut. We got to talk about it. So, guys, the Lakers tonight are taking on the Jazz. They are hosting the Jazz, and scheduled as of now is supposed to be Luka Doncic's debut with the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's go over the injury report right now. For the Jazz, KJ Martin and Colin Sexton are out. Taylor Hendricks, their early first-round pick last year, is out for the season, so we won't see him again. On the other side, I do have to laugh at the injury report. Bronny James is a game-time decision. Not like he was going to play anyway. Dalton Connect is also a game-time decision. I think that is due to him rejoining the team. Dalton Connect was the main piece traded for Mark Williams, which, as we know, over the weekend, that trade got rescinded, which, by the way, I don't know who's following that story. Mark Williams does not want to rejoin the Hornets after trading him. A very interesting situation with both teams as the trade got turned down because of a failed physical by Mark Williams. And a lot of players had to go back to the team that traded them, so that's never an easy situation. But I do believe that's why Dalton Connect is still a game-time decision. They're getting him ready and back with the team. LeBron's a game-time decision as well, and Austin Reeves. All that being said, Ben, what do you like in this one? Debut, it's looking like, of Luka Doncic. Do you think it's going to be another big Lakers win? Because, guys, the Lakers have been pretty good as of late. They've won 5 games in a row themselves, and they're scoring a ton of points. They're kind of the opposite of what's going on with the Mavericks right now, where the Mavericks players' morale seems like it's a little down, while the Lakers players' morale seems like it's on the other end, going up. Ben, what do you got?
Guys, I'm going to drop somewhat of a hot take in this game. I don't care about the side necessarily. I'm going to take Luka Doncic under 26.5 points. This line is...
You're the worst.
This line, I'm sorry.
You're just the worst.
He's averaging 28.1 on the season. He's coming over for his debut. He's set at 26.5, which, by the way, opened at 29.5. Already had action on the over, and now it's dropping to 26.5. Something tells me he's not going to play a whole lot of minutes tonight. This debut will be one to get him out on the floor, get the fans in the seats, because everyone's waiting for his debut. Like, they need to get his debut out. They want people in the seats. They want people buying jerseys. So they just want to get him out as quick as they can. I don't know how many minutes we're going to see from him tonight. I doubt he's going to play 40 or anywhere even close to 40. So for me, unless he just, and it's Luka Doncic, so he could go absolutely nuts in the first half and hit 20 first half points. But that would assume he gets super hot early or anything. And, he can drop 50 in any game. But I will say, I don't think he plays full minutes tonight. I do think we're going to see maybe 25 out of him. And I think he's going to go under 26.5 points. This line is just begging you to take his over. It's under his season average in his debut with the new team. Like, this is the most watched game. I'm sorry, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I agree with you that he's not going to go for a long time tonight. But, man, this dude's been disrespected pretty big time. He was told he's fat. He's told he can't play defense. He was told the team that drafted him didn't want him. They were told they couldn't rely on him, building around him in the future. And by them trading him, they costed him, what, a $345 million contract? This dude's pissed. This dude is pissed. So I'll tell you one thing. One thing I wouldn't dare bet is the Luka under, because he could play 9 minutes, and I could see him getting close to that total. I think his shot's going to be falling tonight. I think he's going to be aggressive. And LeBron James is a game-time decision. If LeBron doesn't go, Luka could have one of those Luka nights, because there's nobody who's more capable in the NBA of dropping a 50 bomb like Luka Doncic, who could do it on any given night. So I'm a little hesitant about taking his unders. Also, that's no fun. Come on, Ben. Have a little fun. Let's see Luka have a big game.
We'll have fun when it wins.
Come on. Yeah, that's also true. I'm on the Lakers here, guys, minus 13. I think we see an absolute statement win by the Lakers. It is a best bet for me. The Lakers are one of the best home teams in the NBA, guys. They're 18-6 on the year. When they're at home, they have juice in that arena, and they're playing in front of the crowd. What do you think the crowd's going to be like tonight? That is going to be electric. It's going to be the most watched game of the night for sure. And I think we see a big Lakers performance. Give me the Lakers minus the 13. Definitely a best bet for me. I know it's a large spread, but I still absolutely love it. JD, my guy JD. What you got?
Man, to me, this is a very interesting game. First off, just because whenever a team actually gets like a new piece like this, I normally do not actually like to play that actually game. Or usually they're like first like few games. I will say I am definitely interested to actually night there. I still don't know exactly how I'm going to play it, but just like you said, this Lakers team, they're playing good ball currently.
Oh yeah,
very good ball. And they're also, just like you said, also they're scoring points. These actually games are actually going over. I've actually been playing their actually games over. Those have been working out very, very, very well for me. You know, for this, it would definitely be some sort of team total over. Probably a first half, just in case this game is just actually turns into like an ugly game and Lakers are up huge. But as far as Luka goes, normally I would be with Ben here. I would say, all right, let's take all the Luka props under, because everybody wants to bet him over, you know, all that kind of thing. But you yourself, Alpha, made a bunch of good points of why to bet the over here, but also to add on to what you said, the guy that they traded for, AD, before he got hurt, he was putting up a massive game.
Oh yeah,
massive
game after game after game.
So you don't think that after his first game out there with actually him, you know, actually watching like AD put up a big first like part of that game.
Yeah.
So you don't think in his first game that he's not gonna want to try to outdo that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
For me, like I'm not betting Luka unders, like I said, because of just everything. There's no way I could. As actually like as far as his assist prop, I'm like actually thinking about that one also. Yeah, there's this like I'll have to look at it more. This actually could be a PRA spot, or either actually like points like an assist spot. There's a bunch of ways that actually this like could go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, David, it's actually like as far as that assist line goes, I think that's maybe a little bit low though.
I like the assists actually more than taking the over on his points to that point.
By the way, Jake, we see all your comments there. You had your opportunity, brother. You've been DMing me all day. I told you the show's at noon, and you had the beginning of the show to come in here and talk your crap to me. Mr. Philly Jake himself, the world's biggest Eagles fan. But you showed up a little late, so we're going to keep it moving. All right, boys. There's a couple things we still have to do on this show, as we always do on this show. First, we're going to start off with Profit X. Profit X is the proud sponsor of MoneyBall Metrics, and we have our Profit X play of the day. Guys, you can get the Mavs right now at a minus 105 for which is the Kings, at plus 100. Read that backwards. All over the Kings tonight. Me and Ben are both on them, and you get them at a plus 100. You guys can also see the other odds that you have here. You get them at a minus 101, minus 102. These odds are better than any of the other places where you can make your wagers. You could even get the Kings at a plus 1 at minus 107. So if you agree with me, you agree with Ben, you want to get in on the Kings, get in right now. And what is the best way that they can get in on Profit X? JD, what's that promo code they got to use?
promo code MBM.
And what does that get them?
That's going to get you 2% profit cash back for your first 30 days.
Absolutely. 2% back. All you got to do is enter code MBM. Get it on Profit X. You're going to get the best lines at the best prices. You guys will be happy that you did. All right, boys. Well, there's still a couple other things that we have to do on the show. So before we go into our best bets, we do want to bring up to make sure to check out Beyond the Board. It's going to be airing Tuesday and Thursday at noon starting next week. So make sure you guys check that out. There may be a couple people who are normally in the chat that will be on that show. I'll give it a little teaser like that. So it's a fantastic show. Make sure you guys check it out. And the final thing we're going to be going over, which we do every single show, is going over our best bets for Monday, February 10th. Ben, you got 1, you got 2, you have 97. How many best bets do you have for the people today?
I have 3 for the people today, starting in college basketball, which we covered earlier. Clemson -5.5. I just think it's simply a better team, and UNC is getting a little book love because they're UNC and they're usually a dominant program. Not this year. Clemson -5.5. Moving over to NBA. My favorite NBA play today, of course, is the Kings money line. I love this spot for them after the Mavericks have won back-to-back games. And then also the Celtics, -5.5. But that line is going all over the place with this Tyler Hero news. So get it wherever you can. If you can get it lower than that, get it there. I would say take it up to 6.5. Anything other than that, for me, I would say is too high. But those are my 3 best bets.
There we go. Kings money line for me. And number 2, Lakers -13. And I will put it up there on the behalf of Footy Chancellor. Inter -1, -130.
5 units.
Don't bring up 5U. I don't want to talk about 5U. JD, what are your best bets today?
I was going to have 2, but because of the line move, I'm only going to have 1 now. And that's going to be the Kings and the Mavs. Y'all both love that actual King side. There definitely makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to go with the over there. You can get a 236.5 now. So actually we'll be playing that. The graphic is going to say that I have a best bet on actually UNC. I do not now because that actual line has moved, and I am not going to be playing that actual current line, so I'm going to pass. And then going back to, I can't believe I'm doing this, but going back to soccer for just a second.
Okay.
I really do have to give a shout out to him here. Footy is on an absolute run right now. His actually 5-unit plays to start the year are like 27-3 or something crazy.
Something
like
absurd.
This dude is on such a run. He's running so high. You absolutely have to play this. You just have to.
I'll be watching it. Let's see Inter get the -1, and let's cash. All right, boys, let me put up one more thing before I put up the graphic for the best bets. David, as the game progressed, so did my eating. I think I lost count at like 740 wings, 350 slices of pizza, 400 chips, and 700 mozzarella sticks. I gained at least 70 pounds yesterday. All right, boys, let me put the graphic up. Get your phones out. Get your screenshots ready. Because here are the best bets. As JD said, don't look at his. The UNC one, pretend it's not there. So you can go over and look at mine. Kings money line, Lakers -13. Let's take a look at Ben's. Kings money line, Celtics -5.5, and Clemson -5.5. For JD, Kings Mavs over 237. We got through the Super Bowl show, gentlemen. It's been a fantastic show. We will be back on Wednesday breaking down what we always break down. Ben, any parting words from you before we get out of here?
I do have some parting words today. Guys, don't be sad that football's over. We have the first spring training game in 10 days. 10 days away from spring training. Baseball's right around the corner. Conference championship or the conference tournaments for college basketball, which are always exciting. That's in just over a month. We have so much good sports still coming up. No reason to cry over football being over. Those are my parting words.
There we go. JD, do what you do.
Yeah, Ben said exactly what I was about to say. This actual time of year for us is actually like a really, really good one. So I'm like pumped still. There's a lot of good sports going on. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Baseball, like Ben just said, is almost here. It is getting so close. And I know as far as us as the show, we were built on that, and we are very excited that time is almost here. But yeah, tonight's card, it's the day after the Super Bowl card. There's just not as much out there. Just really don't like as much. But with the plays we do have, let's fucking win.
Let's fucking win. We'll be back on Wednesday. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Even Jake, you pain in the ass. We appreciate you. Let's fucking win. We'll see you boys on Wednesday. Peace.